Calamari, salutations everyone, Squid here, presenting you the Season 4 of the YCL Draft League, and we're back with the YCL after finishing off in the top 4 last season, which is kind of a good achievement, if I may say so myself. For those of you wondering, since I didn't release the video, I ended up losing with Arts in the semifinals. It was kind of a rough schedule for me to upload at that point, that's why I didn't do it. And let's be honest, when you lose, motivation to make videos isn't the greatest. But alas, we are here again, and we are back with a pretty fun team, if I may say so myself. We were the second overall pick, and as you may already know, or maybe you don't, and I'll reveal it to you, the draft was split into two different draftings, because there were 24 coaches in this league, and we split them in groups of 12 people drafting. And so we went on with it. And this season is gonna be a shorter season because the finals should be played around the time that Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl come out. And after those come out, we the commissioners will assess the situation and see what's the future of the YCL gonna be like. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And let's see the pretty fun team that I drafted. So I was second overall pick. And I knew that I wanted a mon that I hadn't tried out yet, and I got it. It's Celesteela. And Celesteela is amazing because of its customizability. Is that a word even? I don't know. So Celesteela is premium customizable, and after my last season where my highest mon was in the A tier, I decided that I wanted something OP. And I decided to draft Celesteela because of that. It's amazing it has amazing typing, it has amazing stats, and it has an amazing ability, and this thing is broken as heck. One thing that you may notice, in the bottom right corner, there's the nicknames that I will be having for the team. I will be going with fixed nicknames, and the nicknames are somewhat related to Dragon and Princess stories. So I drafted a princess, Princesa means princess, in Celesteela. In case you don't know, Celesteela is based off a folklore tale from Japan that stars a princess that came from the stars, and Celesteela is inspired by that character. And we also drafted a dragon. And believe it or not, I picked Zygarde 50% at the 23rd overall pick. And it got to me and I was like, man, I can't let this opportunity pass up, right? Let's grab 2 S+ tiers and wreck our points. And let's go from there. So about Zygarde, it's amazing. It has 1000 arrows, and if you don't know what 1000 arrows is, maybe you're not that much of a fan of Pokemon, but I will explain it to you. 1000 arrows basically means that no Pokemon is immune to it, and that's a big deal because it's basically the move that makes or breaks Zygarde. And it's such a powerful mon that even without a useful ability, it's still an S+ tier. And I decided to call this one Porto. Porto is a city from Portugal, but here's the fun fact. There's a football club in Porto called Futebol Clube do Porto, and their mascot is a dragon, so hence the name. Yeah, so Zygarde and Celesteela alone are annoying to deal with, but I decided to be even more annoying. So forgive me, Father, because I have sinned. I have picked Toxipex. And oh boy, these 3 that I have to start off with are gonna be a pain for my opponents to deal with. I guarantee it. Not only there won't be many teams that can break through Toxipex, Celesteela, and Zygarde. and I look forward to see how they do it, actually. I knew I had a little bit of an electric weakness at the moment, but I will fix that later. So let's talk about Toxipex. It's annoying, it's bulky, it has a regenerator, it can be poisoned, it can poison stuff back, and it's amazing. So it's an amazing defensive mon, and I wasn't much of a fan of it until I mocked Mountay basically weekly, and he consistently performed with the Toxipex, and I figured if Mountay can do it, I can do it, right? Maybe not, because there's a reason why he's number 1 or 2 in the world in the draft league format. So yeah, but we're gonna try, people. We're gonna try. So Sapu. What does Sapu mean? Frog. And it's like, you know those stories with princesses that kiss frogs and they turn into a beautiful prince? Let's see if I hope that Toxipex can do that for me in this season of the YCL. So let's go for Sapu. And at the moment, you guys are wondering, do I have points left to pick all the stuff that I need to? And the answer is no. So I decided to save a little bit of points, and at the same time I thought, which mon could make even more of a headache for the opponents to prep against me? This is the one. Oh, this is so devolution, I love it. I'm sorry, guys. So let's talk about impostor. Impostor means imposter. Who would have thought? If you followed my channel some months ago, you have seen me use Ditto. And for one thing you are gonna be sure of, I won't run Choice Scarf Ditto every week. In fact, I think I will run more items that are not Choice Scarf on the Ditto than the Choice Scarf itself. So be prepared for it. Be very prepared. I will bring unexpected items on the Ditto, and that's just how it is. That's just how I play. Ditto is kind of a fun mon to me. It's such a fun mon to use, and I've used it in a different context. Sure, I used it in a Dynamax League, but I want to see how I perform with it in a non-Dynamax League. So I think it can still put in a crazy amount of work, and it should patch up the many holes that my team has, because I decided to draft fun over good this time, and that left me with a tiny few holes in my team that I don't want to reveal, but my opponents can figure those out on their own. So let's go into the next one. So I knew I had a little bit of an electric weakness, and I knew that I didn't have a rock setter. So I decided to draft Alolan Marowak Skeleton, and because it's a rock setter, it hits hard and it has the option of electric immunity, so that's a pretty good option for my team, because I can't rely on Zygarde being my electric check every week and then getting bolt beamed coverage wrecked. So yeah, Alolan Marowak hits very hard, gives me the option of a Trick Room Abuser in case I draft a Trick Room at a later point. Spoilers, I did, but I don't think I will be using it much, or maybe I will. You'll never know. Haha. Yeah, I'm looking forward to use Alolan Marowak. Haven't used it yet, but it hits hard, and at this point I wanted the mon to hit hard because my team was kind of in the bulky side of things, so I wanted to patch up that with some pretty good offense. And I think more offense is coming in the next pick. Oh no, actually no. There's a reason why I picked my F tiers now. So Bishmi, in his enlightened way of drafting, decided to draft 6 S tiers in a row. And that left him with only points to draft F tiers. So I knew that he was gonna start picking F tiers, so I decided to grab the both that I knew I would want from that tier for certain. First is Cottony. Cottony is the end of my grass, water, fire core, and it's my only grass type. It's a regret that I have, but well, we can't have it all. And a prankster user is always nice to end up sweeps or something like that. So the idea is get a prankster user that will have some utility in some matches. There's a very specific scenario why I also drafted the cottony for. It may come into play or not, we'll see. So the nickname for cottony is actually Rose, Rosa. It's a beautiful flower that the prince will give to the princess once he saves her. And next we have horse, the porygon, cavalo. So porygon. Let's talk about the amazing abilities that porygon has. Trace, download, and analytic. Those are pretty powerful abilities, and you almost want to bring all of them in a given week. I wanted to draft a normal type to pair up with my ghost type, because D2 doesn't count as a normal type. D2 doesn't count as anything, actually, but oh well. So, porygon is pretty bulky if you want it to be pretty bulky. Not as bulky as P2, mind you, but it will still work in some scenarios. Cough cough, Dragapult, cough cough. Yeah, so with that analytic boost, it may delete things that are quad weak or something like that, because since it's a Gen 1 mon, it will have crazy coverage. And teleport. Who doesn't like teleport? I do. I love teleport, so let's give me that momentum that my team basically doesn't have at this point. But I will draft more momentum with flip turn. So I've always wanted to try out Sharpido once flip turn came out. There was never the opportunity to draft it. I needed a dark type, so since I have Toxipex as a defensive water type, I figured that having a different type of role filled by a same typing mon wouldn't hurt the team, and that's what I did. I drafted Sharpido. Banded flip turns will hurt on the opponent, and hopefully they will put in a crazy amount of offensive pressure. And speed boost is an amazing ability, and I'm looking forward to try and abuse it in some way. And the nickname for Sharpido is Corsair. So it's like the mercenary, the pirate that goes after the princess and steals her and tries to do nasty things to her. And yeah, that's basically it for the nickname. Let's go ahead and draft more momentum. So, Raiku. Nickname is actually a pun, so it's companheiro. And to put it into perspective, in English it's something like dog companion. So that's the part of the pun. It's more fun in Portuguese, I guarantee you. So Raiku, I wanted a fast electric type, and at this point I already had shapen my draft, so I would draft Raiku at a certain point. Never tried it, but that 115 speed with the option of Calm Mind boosting looks pretty good in paper, so I want to try and abuse that. And the coverage that Raiku has is actually pretty good, if I do say so myself. It has Scald, it has Aura Sphere, it has Shadow Ball, and Shadow Ball hits a lot of threatening stuff in the format. So yeah, Raiku is gonna be amazing, I feel like. And the last mod that I wanted, the last two mods that I wanted, for the first one, I knew that I would have to pick before Blood. So I had 140 points left at this moment. I knew that I wanted a B tier and I wanted an E tier. So I knew that Blood only had 60 points left, I believe. Blood was the first pick. And so I wanted to draft my E tier before he snipes me. So I decided to draft more hazard control. So Claydol is both a stealth rocker and a rapid spinner. So it's called Amulet. and it's mainly here as a way to compound my electric, my ground weakness, and as a way to get some hazard control. It also has teleport, and I love teleport, in case I hadn't said it already. And for my last mon, there was a bit of, how do you call it, conflict of interest here. So my heart was telling me go for a gardevoir because Trace is such a fun and over-the-roof potential ability, but my mind was telling me no, you have to draft Comfy because it fits your team pretty nicely. And in the end, Trace ended up winning. So nickname for Gardevoir is Sininho, which is the equivalent of Tinkerbell in English. And I basically decided to draft Gardevoir because of Trace. Trace is such a fun ability, and I would really want to try and abuse it as much as possible. And can you fault me for that? So I went with fun all the way with the team, and here's the general look of it. Have I told you that I'm gonna have fun prepping with this team? Because I am. Yeah, so this is basically the team. I didn't go much in depth because the season is very short, and I want to reveal a few of my surprises once the battles start and once the team building phase of the video starts. That's where I'll get more in depth into what we're gonna try and do. So, do you like my team? I absolutely love it. Comment down below which is the mon that you're most exciting for me to use. That you're most excited for me to use. English is hard at the moment. And yeah, so thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Squid, jetting out.